Hello and welcome to Tuesday evenings yoga. Do know that as you practice yoga, and especially those who are watching the recording, you need to be aware you're practicing at your own risk, and you need to be very tuned into how your body feels today so that you make the right decisions and take the right options, even missing things out if it's not what your body needs tonight. So we're going to start lying down today, so taking yourself to lying down on your mat, maybe coming into a good Shavasana pose, so taking your feet out to the corners of the mat, having your hands away from your body, your palms turned up, but knowing that you can make any adjustments. Comfort's the primary aim here, so if a different posture will allow you to be more comfortable, then take that. And once you're lying there, give yourself a few moments to make sure your position is comfortable, making any small adjustments, any wriggles to get truly comfortable. And then have an awareness of yourself lying in a room in your house. That real sense of place as you lie there. Then drawing your attention and awareness inwards to you lying here on your mat. Feeling the mat underneath your body. Feeling the connection your body has against the ground. Taking your awareness and attention to your breath. So now bringing your awareness to within your body. Being aware of your next few inhales. Being aware of your next few exhales. Feeling the gentle rise and fall within your body that comes with each breath. And with each breath, allowing yourself to let go of the day so far. Allowing yourself to let go of thoughts of what comes after this class. Bringing yourself fully and completely into your yoga practice today. Then we'll start to move the body. Bringing your feet together and stretching your arms up above your head. Fine to have your elbows bent if that lets your arms rest and relax against the ground. Taking an inhale, and as you exhale, bringing your right knee in and your arms over to hug the knee into your chest. As you inhale, stretching your arms back above your head, stretching your leg out away from you. Next exhale, bringing your left knee in, arms come over, hugging the knee into your chest. Inhaling, send your foot away, send your arms back above your head. Keeping that movement going with your breath. Each time you exhale, bringing arms and knee in. As you inhale, taking arms and foot away. If you want to get a bit more movement with this, as you hug and draw your knee in, you could also lift your head up towards your knee, taking your head back down as your arms extend backwards. And if you want to make this a little stronger, You could draw your navel in towards your spine and bring both knees in. Hugging in and releasing back out. Particularly on the release out though, make sure your core muscles are engaged, so your navel's pulling gently in. If you're finding that's a bit stronger than you need, then just land your feet down a little closer to you rather than stretching them all the way out. Taking one more breath. Finishing, stretching out. And bringing your hands then down by your side. Taking 2 breaths rest there. Palms turned up towards the ceiling, feet relaxing apart. Bringing your feet together, stretching your arms up above your head. If you want, you could interlace your fingers and press your palms away from you. Otherwise, have your hands separate, pressing your fingertips away from you. Stretch your toes forward, stretch your hands back, stretching out long, feeling yourself lengthen and narrow. Then release as you exhale, bringing your hands back over by your side and coming to sitting, and from sitting to standing. Coming to stand with your feet hip distance apart, hands relaxed by your side. And in this class we generally try to take our spine through all the possible movements. So we're going to start that with a side bend, twisting the spine left and right. So when you're ready, taking a tilt over to the right hand side. Just tilting gently over. It's as if your right arm has become quite heavy, bringing that back to the centre, and then taking it over to the left hand side. Your left arm's now heavy, helping you to tilt over. You could now also press your right foot firmly into the mat. So your right foot's pressing down, your left hand's hanging heavy, your left foot's just relaxing there, not doing anything in particular. Then taking your tilt over to the right hand side, transferring the pressure from your right foot to now, left foot now to your left foot. Yes, to your left foot. Then taking your tilt over to the other side, transferring the pressure to your right foot. And then just keeping that going in your own time, so that as the tilt goes one way, the pressure in your foot goes the other. Being aware of that bend of your spine, not a bend that it gets that often in day-to-day life. And then taking one more of those to each side. Finishing up, back, standing tall. Coming then to the top of your mat, ready for sun salutations. Bringing your feet together, hands relaxing by your side. Pressing your feet into the mat as your crown of your head lifts up to the ceiling. Letting your shoulder blades relax down your back, tilting the top of your chest upwards to the ceiling. We'll begin with 2 breaths as always. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bringing your palms together at the center of your chest. Press your palms together, lifting your elbows just a touch. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling, look between them. Stretch your hands higher as you tilt your rib cage up towards the ceiling. Your arms will come back, your armpits will come back from your hips. Stretching and reaching all the way forward and then all the way down. Bending your knees as much as you need. Your fingertips are touching the mat in line with your toes. Neck muscles relaxed, your head hangs heavy. Take your right foot all the way back. Lowering your knee, placing the top of your foot flat on the ground. Letting your hips relax there. So getting a bit of a stretch in your left hip flexor lifting your gaze. Tucking your right toes under, sending your left foot back. Finding plank there, looking between your hands, shoulder blades easing back. Finding that perfect straight line, so neither sagging down nor lifting up, but a straight line from the back of the neck to your heels. Lowering your knees, bringing your chest down to the ground, maybe keeping a little lift in your hips, make contact with chin or forehead on the mat. And press forward as you lift your face and lift your chest, coming into a small cobra, shoulder blades still easing back, elbows in close. Tucking your toes and lifting your hips. You could lift them straight up, or you could take your hips back to your heels first and then straighten your legs. Coming to down face dog. Hips lift on high at the top of your V. Hands pressing down, heels pressing down at the ends of your V. Taking your weight back towards your feet. Looking between your hands, bringing your right foot through. You could bring both knees down first and bring your foot through, or bring it through in one move, lifting your gaze, relaxing your hips. Bringing your left foot through to join the right, finding forward fold, head relaxing, and reaching and stretching up. Your hands arc up to the ceiling, coming back, looking up between your hands, and hands come down. Inhale. Exhale, palms firmly pressing together, shoulders relaxing. Stretching and reaching your hands up, tilting your rib cage upwards. From your hips, stretching forward and down, fingertips in line with toes on the mat. Left leg all the way back, knee down, lift your gaze. Tuck your left toes under, send your right foot back to plank. Maybe pressing your heels away behind you this time to help you lengthen and straighten. If you're feeling strong, you could take your elbows back and come down in one straight line, or knees, then chest. Lifting your face, lifting your chest, shoulder blades relaxing but down your back, and tucking your toes, lifting your hips to down face dog. Hands press firmly down, heels press firmly down, hips lift on high to the ceiling, sending your weight back to your legs so your armpits come lower towards the ground. Looking between your hands, left foot through, right knee comes down. Let your gaze lift there. Right foot springs forward, relaxing in your forward fold, your head hangs heavy. Reach and stretch all the way up, looking between your hands. And hands come down. Inhale. Exhale. We'll take 2 more rounds of sun salutations. So here now the focus is on the flow from one posture to the next. Hands relaxing, crown of your head lifting. We begin with our rest breath. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed firmly together. Inhaling, stretch and reach up, looking between your hands. Exhale, stretch and reach forward and down, looking towards your knees. Inhale, right leg back, knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, left foot back, looking between your hands in plank. Exhale as you lower, one straight line, all knees then chest. Inhale, face and chest lift, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high as your hands press down. Down face dog. Inhale, right foot through, left knee to the ground, lifting your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Allow that exhale to help you relax. Inhale, stretch and reach up, looking between your hands. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretch and reach up. Exhale, stretch and reach down. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, lifting your gaze, lifting your chest. Tucking your left toes under, hold your breath, right foot back. Plank, looking between your hands, exhaling as you lower. Inhale, pressing forward, lifting your face, lifting your chest to cobra. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lifting, heels pressed down, guiding your chest towards your knees. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down, let your gaze lift. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretch and reach up and back, tilting your rib cage to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down. We'll take an extra breath here, then final round. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, right leg back, knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, left foot back. Look between your hands in plank, shoulder blades easing down your back. Hold, exhale, lowering down. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lifting on high, hands pressed down. Inhale, right foot through, left knee down, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretch and reach up. Exhale, hands down. Final side. Inhale. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretch and reach up and back. Exhale, stretch and reach forward and down. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, right foot back. Come into plank. Exhale as you slowly lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, hands pressed down. Inhale, left foot through, right knee down, lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretch and reach up, looking between your hands. Exhale, hands down. Taking your feet apart, turning your palms forward for 2 cooling breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Then come to lying down, back to Shavasana, stretching out on your mat, feet to the corners, hands away from your body, palms turned up. Keeping your awareness, keeping your attention within your body. Maybe being aware of your breath, being aware of your heart rate as they return back to resting. And for our core today, we're going to take Parsvatanasana, churning the stomach. So to prepare and set up, bend your knees and bring your knees up onto your chest, bringing your arms around to hug either the back of your legs or around your knees, drawing them in close towards your chest. As you do that, you might find your tailbone lifts a little, bringing your knees as close in as you can. Keeping your knees in close, then take your arms out to the side. Stretching your hands as wide as you can. And then pressing your arms firmly into the ground. Pressing your shoulder blades firmly into the ground. That's giving you a anchor line at the top of your body. Drawing your navel down towards your spine. So you're engaging all of your core muscles. As you next exhale, slowly take your knees over to the right hand side, aiming to land them as close to the ground as your core allows, just taking them as far as is right for you, keeping your left arm and shoulder blade pressing into the ground to counterbalance you,
And when your knees as close to the ground as they'll go, you can bring your knees up towards your elbow, keeping your navel drawing down towards your spine to give you the strength and the control. Take one more breath there as you next inhale, bringing your knees back up to the centre. Then as you next exhale, slowly taking both knees over to the left. Again, bringing them as close to the ground as your core allows, keeping your right shoulder blade pressing down, easing your knees up towards your left elbow. Keeping your breath steady, taking one more there. As you next inhale, bringing your knees back up to the centre. Landing your feet down and taking a couple of breaths there. We're going to take that same movement, but we'll do it with our breath. There's an option if you want to make it stronger to straighten your legs. So drawing your navel down towards your spine, bringing your knees back onto your chest. If you try straight legs, you can always come back to bent legs. If you start in bent legs, you can always try straight legs. If you wanted to start in straight legs, you can straighten them now. And wherever your legs are, navel towards your spine. As you exhale, taking your legs over to the right hand side. Bringing them as close to the ground as your core allows. As you next inhale, bringing them back to the centre. As you exhale, taking them over to the left hand side. As close to the ground as they'll go, keeping your right arm pressing down. Inhaling back to the centre. Then keeping that going with your own breath. So you're exhaling to the side, inhaling back to the centre, keeping your core engaged, so navel's drawing down towards your spine. When your legs are down at the side, if your knees are bent, bringing your knee up to your elbow. If your legs are straight, taking your toes up towards your hands. Remembering to keep the opposite arm pressing down, giving you that counterbalance. Taking up to 2 more of those on each side. Making sure that when you finish, you're coming up from the left hand side. And then once you're done, landing your feet down, stretching your legs out, bringing your hands by your sides, palms turned up, feet can relax apart. And then directing the expansion of your next few breaths into your abdomen. As you inhale, abdomen rises. As you exhale, it gently falls. Bringing your feet together, extending your arms up overhead, interlacing fingers if that's comfortable, stretching hands back, toes press forward. Stretching a little longer, and release. Bringing your hands back over by your side, and coming up to sitting. So we're going to take shoulder stand next. And I know many of you are very experienced shoulder standers. So what we'll do tonight is, if you want to go into shoulder stand, and then I'll continue just giving instructions for anybody else who wants them, so that others who aren't so experienced know how to get in and out of shoulder stands safely. So I can see shirts being tucked in. That's nice to see. You might want to tuck the front of your shirt in. And then if you're coming straight into shoulder stand, you'll know the drill, but I'll give more explanation for this. You're bringing your arms in really, really close, elbows in really, really close, and stretching out nice and long. Then, when you're ready, you lift your legs and lift your hips. You might find that you want to take that with bent knees to give you some momentum to bring you up. And then as soon as your hips are lifted, bringing your hands onto your hips so that you can hold yourself good and securely. Now, if you might find that shoulder stand right in the middle of your room isn't what you want to do today, in which case you could come along to a wall, sitting so that your hips are touching the wall. You can then take your hands behind you and lift your legs up as you twist yourself round so that you can come to legs above the wall where you could stay. Or if you want to then, with the safety and security of the wall, bring yourself into a shoulder stand, you can press your feet into the wall, lifting your hips. And once your hips are lifted, bring your hands onto your hips and then maybe take one foot over, maybe take the other foot over, maybe take both feet over so you're coming into full shoulder stand. But knowing you've always got that safety and security of the wall. The final piece of shoulder stand important information is coming out when the time comes. This is an instruction for those of you who are in there, but when the time comes is to take your hips back a little so you can take one hand down to the ground, followed by the other, and then slowly drape your spine back down to the ground. Stretching your legs out and turning your palms up. And if you have high blood pressure, then the shoulder stand isn't for you, but having your legs up in the air definitely would be for you. That would be highly recommended. So all of you who are in your shoulder stands, if you want to just take another 2 or 3 breaths in shoulder stand. And then preparing to come out, maybe taking your legs a little lower and hips back to the wall behind you so you can release one hand down to the ground, followed by the other. Your palms are turned down. Those are now your breaks as you slowly drape your spine down to the ground. Stretching your legs out, turning your palms to face up, and taking a few breaths there as your body acclimatizes back to legs, head, heart, all being in one straight line. Then bringing yourself slowly up to sitting. We're going to take Matsyasana next, the fish pose, and I just want to just show that to you before you come into it, just so that you can see the way the back lifts away from the ground. So you'll come to knees bent, you lift your hips, you'll take your hands underneath you, hands will be to palms turned down, thumbs touching, stretching your legs out, elbows in as close as you can bring them. Once you're there, the aim in Matsyasana is to lift your chest up away from the ground, and you do that by first of all just pressing your shoulders down, doming your chest up. But then the key move is a press into your elbows, your hips are pressing into your hands as you lift your chest vertically up towards the ceiling. So your chest domes up to the ceiling. Once you've lifted as high as you comfortably and easily can, your head rests back, and you can then rest your head onto the mat. And then to come out, you lift up and tilt your chest up. Now, when I'm in the class, that can be quite a hard move to access if you've not done it before. And what I would do with somebody who hasn't yet accessed that move is I'd come and put my fingertips just on the middle of their back here. And as they're lifting, I'd just be pressing there to lift up. So if you find that you're not getting the elevation, just imagine that you're getting a little bit of an uplift in the middle of your back, just between your shoulder blades. So coming to lying down, bending your knees, lifting your hips, bringing your hands palm face down, your thumbs touching if you can, and then bringing your hips back down and stretching your legs out. If you wanted to lighten this, you could keep your knees bent. Elbows are in as close as you can bring them. Then with your head just relaxing against the ground for now, pressing your shoulders into the ground. And as you press your shoulders down, you can dome your chest up towards the ceiling. So that's just the start of lifting. Then transferring your attention to your elbows, pressing your hips into your hands as you press your elbows into the ground and start your elbows bending. And as your elbows bend, you'll then your chest can start lifting away from the ground up to the ceiling. So your whole upper back is lifting away from the ground, your elbows bent. Then once you've got some lift of your chest, you could rest your head back and then lower your head down onto the ground. If you've got a lot of lift, you could take your head all the way back so the crown of your head touches down. If you've got a little bit of lift, then it's the back of your head will make contact. Keeping the weight in your elbows rather than letting it all come onto your head. Taking 2 more good breaths there. As you take those breaths, seeing if you can lift the centre of your shoulder blades a little higher away from the ground. Taking 1 more breath. Then a press into your elbows so your head lifts. Lifting your chin to look down towards your toes and then draping your back down onto the ground. Releasing your hands and taking a twirl of your wrists, having just sat on them. And then from there, coming up to sitting. And taking a release of our necks, having done Matsyasana fish pose and shoulder stand. Turning your head to the right and then back to the centre, to the left and centre. To the right, as far to the right as your neck's comfortable to go, the centre, and then left as far as your neck is comfortable to go. Back to the centre. Coming then to sitting with your legs stretched out. Let me just adjust my camera a little. So sitting with your legs stretched out. Now as you sit with your legs stretched out, if you can, if that's a comfortable, easy posture for you, then you could stay sitting directly on the ground. If you'd like to make yourself a little more comfortable, you could take a block or a cushion or anything else that you've got around you to sit on, just to give you a bit of elevation so that you can hold this position more effortlessly. So we're going to take a version of Gomukhasana, which is cow face pose. It's a slight variation of cow face pose. To prepare yourself, pick up your right foot and bring it across your left leg. And then bring that foot further back towards you. So you might want to use 2 hands. And as you bring that foot back, this knee will come over the other knee and lower down. Now, tune into your own body on this. You may well be nearer here, or you may be stacking your knee on top of the other knee. But just take, wherever you take it, you will get the benefit of the posture. Then, take your left foot and move it across the midline. So you're moving it that way. And then maybe with your one hand, right hand on your knee, left hand on your ankle, just have a bit of a shuffle and a shimmy to get as much good contact between your sitting bones and the ground as you can. Pointing your left toes up towards the ceiling. Sitting good and tall, so you're lifting your chest. And then when you're ready, just hinging yourself forwards. You're bringing your chest towards your knee, but your focus is on coming forward at your hips. As always in a forward fold, this movement is mainly coming from your hips. And as you bring that forward, you'll start to feel a stretch down the outside of your left leg. And maybe also feel some stretch in your hips as well. So it's a little bit of a hip stretch as well. And once you've come as far forward as you can then hold here, or you can strengthen it a little by, with this foot, maybe just pressing the big toe side away from you a little. And as you do that, you'll bring the little toe side in towards you a little. You can also take your left hand and reach across to take a hold of the outside of, the big toe side of your left leg. And that might just help you to ease forward a touch more. And then just use your breath so that as you inhale, you lengthen up through the crown of your head, and as you exhale, you relax forward a little more. If this feels stronger than you need, ease it back a little. So inhale, you're lengthening, exhaling, you're relaxing forward. And taking one more breath. And as you next inhale, release. And relax. Uncrossing your legs. Taking a shake and then setting up for the other side. So bringing your left foot across the right and drawing that foot back as much as you comfortably can, so that you're bringing your left knee over your right knee. Once your foot's in position, then maybe taking your hands onto that knee so you can sit up good and straight, having a shuffle with your hips, taking your right foot over to the left, and then sitting tall, maybe taking your right hand onto your left ankle, holding your left knee as you then exhale and start hinging slowly forward. There's no rush, so let this develop slowly. You're bringing your abdomen towards that left leg, you're bringing your chest towards that left leg. Feeling the stretch begin down the outside of your right leg. Maybe then pressing the big toe side of your right foot away from you. That will draw the little toe side in a touch. And I'm going to get this right this time. We're going to take our left hand and you might be able to reach the outside of that right leg. Yes, left hand to right leg. Left hand to right leg. Oh, left hand to right. This is one of those postures that has limbs crossed over the other side of the body. And you'll know that always throws me. It is definitely left hand outside of right leg. Foot, if you can reach. Then taking a few breaths as you inhale, lengthening up through to the crown of your head, and as you exhale, relaxing forward just a little more. Taking one more breath. And releasing your foot if you've got hold of it. Inhaling, lifting yourself back up. Then uncrossing your legs and taking a shake. From there, bringing yourself to kneeling at the back of your mat. Let me just adjust my camera. So we're going to take a lunge, and from the lunge we're going to get a twist, a hip flexor stretch, and a hip opener, which does mean we're going to spend a reasonable amount of time on one knee. If we were in class now, I would be handing out the knee pads. So some of you have got carpet underneath you and maybe a rug underneath you, but if you haven't, you might want to just take 2 or 3 rolls of the back of your mat and just place that under your knees
so that your knee is cushioned a little. Then, standing on your knees hip distance apart, and bringing your right foot forward. With your right foot forward, bringing your hands down either side of your right foot. Letting your hips relax down towards the ground. An exhale is a really good way of doing that. And then just checking your knee and ankle, moving that foot forward so that your ankle ends up in front of your knee with a gentle slope away from you on your right shin. Then another exhale, letting your hips relax down. Bringing your right hand onto your right knee. Pressing into that hand, keeping your hips low as your torso comes upright. Bringing your left hand onto that knee as well. So you'll feel a stretch develop in your left hip flexor. If you're at all wobbly, take your foot a little more out to the right to give you some extra stability. Knowing that you've got control, as your chest comes forward, the stretch eases. As you take your chest back, that stretch down your left hip flexor will strengthen. Taking an exhale where you bend your front knee a little more, letting your hips relax down a touch more. Knowing that you could keep your hands here, but if you wanted more, you could lift your hands up towards the ceiling. With your hands lifted, lifting them a little higher. Maybe looking up between them as you take your arms back, taking your armpits back, lifting the top of your chest up towards the ceiling. Letting your hips relax. If you're looking up, look forward, and then bring your hands down either side of your front foot. Taking a breather there. Then bringing your right hand inside your right foot. Having either your palms or your fingertips in the ground. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to lower our torso down the inside of that right leg. Maybe walking your hands forward. And you might find that you could bring an elbow to the ground, but the important thing here isn't bringing the elbow to the ground, it's bringing our torso, our chest evenly down to the ground so that our chest remains parallel with the ground as we descend. Turning your right toes out to 45 degrees and letting your right knee just ease out to help you to relax down, feeling the opening in your right hip. Using your next 2 or 3 out breaths to relax. If it feels comfortable, you could let your head relax down towards the ground. Then slowly starting to walk your hands back in towards you, lifting yourself back up, turning your toes to face forward, taking your hands back the other side of that foot. Then maybe you've just got one more thing to do here, but you might want to have a quick breather, so you might just want to come up for a moment and then bring yourself back down. Taking your right hand onto your right knee, bringing your left hand flat onto the ground. If your hand's doesn't easily reach the ground and you had a block, you could place your hand on a block or anything else that you've got handy just to let you lift yourself up a little bit with that left hand. Then pointing your right elbow up towards the ceiling, looking towards it. And we're going to take a twist from here. So with your right elbow pointing up to the ceiling, you can press your hand into your knee as your chest turns to face towards your right leg. As you press your right hand into your knee, you can then take your right shoulder back so that your elbow stays at about 45 degrees. And if it's comfortable, you can turn your head to look up towards the ceiling. if you wanted to, you could also take your right hand up towards the ceiling. Taking your whole arm, twisting your whole arm around your arm, your armpit, helping to ease your chest around a little more. Then turning your head to look back down towards the ground, bringing your right hand onto your knee. Just bringing yourself back to face forward. And then with your hands, if you take your hand onto your knee, you can then straighten that leg, slowly lifting back up. And then bring your right leg back. Now you might want to here just take a stand and just maybe have a little march with your legs just to ease out where you stretched your hips. And then coming back to kneeling, ready to do the other side. Putting any cushioning, and I can see lots of cushions. Putting cushioning under now your right knee. And when you're ready, bringing your left foot forward. Hands coming either side of your foot. Relaxing your hips. Bringing your foot forward so that your ankle is in front of your knee. Gentle slope away from you on your shin. Hips relax. Bringing your left hand onto your left knee. Keep your hips low as you press into that hand, lifting your torso upright, bringing your right hand onto that knee. Being aware of the control you've got, ease it forward, the stretch eases, take your chest back, it strengthens. So getting the right level of strength of hip flexor stretch for you. As you next exhale, maybe bending your front knee a little more as you let your hips relax down a little more. Taking your left foot out a little more to the left if you're at all wobbly. That will just ease your balance. It's fine to stay here with your hands on your knees, but if you want more, you could lift your hands up towards the ceiling. Stretching your fingertips high. Maybe lifting your gaze to look between your hands. And then taking your arms back as you tilt your rib cage up towards the ceiling. So the very top of your chest, you're lifting it up and back. Hips relaxing down towards the ground. Crescent moon from the shape of the back. If you're looking up, look forward. And then bringing your hands back either side of your foot. If your hand's on your knee, bringing your hands down to the floor. Bringing your left hand inside your left foot. Turning your toes out to 45 degrees on your left foot. And then slowly walking your hands forward, bringing your torso down inside your left leg, keeping your chest parallel to the ground. You may find that your elbows can make contact. Feeling the stretch in your left hip. Really tuning into your left hip, only taking this as low as your left hip is comfortable to go. Using your exhales to help your body relax a little more. Maybe letting your neck muscles relax, allowing the crown of your head to point down to the ground. And slowly walking your hands back in, lifting yourself back up, turning your foot to face forward, hands coming back around the other side. And then before we take the twist, if you want to, just lifting yourself up, taking a release, and then bringing yourself down, ready for the twist. Taking your left hand onto your left knee, right hand underneath your right shoulder, turning to look at your left elbow, pointing it directly up towards the ceiling. So you've got a right angle, if you can, up that left elbow. And then as you press your hand gently into your knee, taking your left shoulder back as your chest turns to face the wall that you're now facing towards. Tilting from your waist, easing your chest around. Fine to stay here. If you want to increase that, you could stretch your hand up towards the ceiling. And with your hand stretched up, taking your whole arm, your whole shoulder back around, helping you to ease your chest around up towards the ceiling. Feeling as if your navel's drawing round towards the ceiling as well as your chest. Taking one more breath. Bringing your hand back onto your knee, looking down towards the ground. And then from there, straightening your front leg, coming back up. And then bringing your left foot back in and coming up to standing. Just having a little bit of a whatever you might need to do to just ease out your hips. And then from there, we're going to take a standing posture. So coming to face, if we all face this way, this way, and then taking your legs reasonably wide, you're not going to an absolute maximum, you're just getting a reasonable posture. In fact, if I just turn this way, then I can just show you for a moment. So kind of that amount of width of legs. Hands on hips, turning your right foot in and your left foot out, so your left foot's pointing towards your screen. And then using your hands to guide your hips around so that they're facing this way. Pressing into your front foot, take your left hip back, pressing into your back foot at the same time to ease your right hip forward. Then with your hands, taking them and interlacing them behind your back, so your fingers are interlaced. If that's stronger than you need, then you can keep your hands separate, like wings behind you. Either is absolutely fine. Pressing your hands to the ground, allow your shoulders to come back, lifting your chest. Then as you next exhale, lead forward with your chest, keeping your left leg straight as you come down. But if you hyperextend or if that's uncomfortable in your knee, then put a little bend into your left leg. Once you've come down as far as you comfortably and easily can, you could then maybe start to lift your hands up towards the ceiling. And then maybe also you could let your neck muscles relax, let your chest relax so that you're allowing yourself to hang forward over that leg. Using your next 2 or 3 breaths so that as you inhale, you lift your arms a little higher, and as you exhale, you relax forward over that leg, keeping an even pressure down into both feet. So particularly having pressure down your back foot. Taking one more breath. Then with a really big inhale, lifting yourself back up, lowering your hands, turning your feet back to the side, hands on hips, and heel toeing your feet back together. Turning around to face the other way. And taking your legs back out wide again. Turning your left foot in and your right foot out. Guiding your hips around to face your right foot. Pressing into your front foot, right hip can come back. Press at the same time into your back foot, easing your left hip forward a little. Taking your hands behind you, interlaced or not. Pressing your hands down towards the ground. Lifting your chest, lifting your shoulders. As you next exhale, lead forward with your chest, coming down over your straight front foot, knowing that you can put a bend into that foot if you hyperextend or if it's uncomfortable. Then lifting your arms up, away from the ground towards the ceiling. Maybe relaxing your neck if that's comfortable, relaxing your chest. Then using your next few breaths. Inhale,
Lift your arms up towards the ceiling, pressing your hands away from you as you exhale. Let everything relax over that leg. And as you next inhale, make it a big one as you lower your hands and lift your torso upright. Turning your feet to the side, hands on hips, heel toeing your feet back together, and taking a shake of your legs and anything else you'd like to shake. And then from here, we're going to take a balance. So we're going to take Ardha Pada Utkatasana, one-legged chair pose. So standing with your feet hip distance and your hands relaxing by your side. Picking up your right foot and crossing your right ankle above your right foot, crossing your right ankle above your left knee. So do put yourself by a wall if you want to have some additional stability. Letting your hands relax in front of you there, giving yourself a moment for your balance to establish itself. And when you're ready, you can start to hinge forward. Hinging from your hips, just letting your fingertips drift down towards the ground. Keeping your gaze on something solid on the ground in front of you. When you come down as far as you can, you could then start to bend your standing knee as if sitting down into an imaginary chair. And once you sat down as far as you can, you could bring your hands slowly to your heart center. Maybe lifting your chest a little, seeing if you can sit down a little more deeply, keeping your breath smooth. As you next inhale, slowly lift up. As you exhale, lowering your hands and lowering your foot. Taking a shake of your left leg. Bringing your feet hip distance apart, hands relaxed by your side. Picking up your left. Is that right? Everybody's doing it, so I assume that's right. Crossing it above your right knee, hands relaxed in front of you. When you're ready, slowly starting to tilt yourself forward, tilting forward at your hips, coming down as low as you can, or until your fingers touch the ground, whichever comes first, having a spot on the floor in front of you that you're using to hold your gaze. When you come as far as you can, starting to bend your standing knee, starting to sit down into your chair, then bringing your hands to your heart center, lifting your chest a little, seeing if you can sit down any deeper. Knowing that you're getting a really nice stretch of your right Achilles at this point. And as you next inhale, slowly bringing yourself back upright. Exhale, lowering hands, lowering foot, taking a shake of your right leg. And then from there, our work is done, coming to lie down for final relaxation. Coming back to where we started the class, a good Shavasana pose. Doing whatever you need to do to make it comfortable. So you might want to have your knees bent, you might want to bring your feet together. Anything that makes you comfortable. And then once you're lying down, let go. Allow your body to relax. Once again, having that awareness of your body on your mat against the ground. Knowing that the ground's holding you firmly.
which means you don't have to hold on to anything. Using your next 2 or 3 out breaths, focusing on the exhale as it brings your contact with the ground even closer. Knowing you don't have to do anything for the next minute or two, except rest, relax. Keeping your body still, bring your awareness back. When you're ready, beginning some movement, wriggling your fingers, wriggling your toes. Bringing your legs together, taking your arms up overhead, but just for a very gentle stretch this time. Maybe pressing your toes away from you and then drawing them towards you, pressing your heels away. Releasing that, bending your knees, bringing your knees up onto your chest. Your arms can then come over to hug around the back of your legs or around the front of your knees, taking a rock side to side. Bringing that rocking to a halt, easing your head to your knees, drawing your knees down towards your chest. And releasing your knees, landing your feet down, landing your head down, and from there, maybe coming by the right hand side for a moment or two, and slowly bringing yourself back to sitting. So nice to see you all. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.